Hello, race fans, and happy Indy 500 week. Welcome to the Elite Racing Network's coverage of the 2026A Carb Day festivities. The drivers have had an hour of practice for the 16th running of the Lucas Oil School of Racing Indianapolis 500, and they are ready to have some fun, and so are we. I'm Ty McIntosh, joined, as always, by Chris Wright, and boy, do we have a show for you. 3 races around the Indianapolis Raceway Park using the Sprint, USF, and USF Pro 2000 cars. And first up on the night is the Hoosier 50. You can see that we are in the Sprint car for this one. We do have a special guest here if we need him. We're probably going to turn to him a little bit just to kind of get a little insight experience from Carlos Acosta. You see his Barbie sprint car there on the racetrack already. Not too many drivers here. We have 8, so it should be a good race. Cale Pocock right now on the pole. I believe that is probably official. I don't think anybody else is going to run any laps to count. But Carlos, you just ran some qualifying laps, buddy. How did it feel for you?
Oh man, I was telling you earlier, it feels like I'm driving in a dirt track, just more twitchier and more scary. And I outpaced 2 people. I think I don't know if they took a time or not, but it's scary. I can't go more than 3 laps.
Yeah, I can't say that I've ever driven the sprint car wingless, anyways, but also not on a dirt track. So I don't really have an experience there, Chris. I don't know if you do. Um, okay, well, yeah, no, I can say it like IRP. I have experience with this car, absolutely not. So we're all going to be learning together here, folks. But nonetheless, Cale Pocock is your pole sitter. James Watson will line up second. Third will be Presley Sora, Chad Frankenfield fourth. Fifth for Hunter Smith. Sixth, Carlos Acosta. Seventh is going to be AJ Hobson, and eighth is our very own Mark Rebelas. So pretty good field here. 50 laps around the IRP Raceway. Again, 2 more races coming up after this, so don't go anywhere at the conclusion of this. We'll have a little bit of dead time while everybody gets settled for the second one. That way, you guys don't have to hear us yap for too long. But we are ready to rip here. This should be very fun. I'm not usually a sprint car enjoyer. I know I have quite a few friends that run this religiously. Cameron Rich, my usual broadcast partner, loves these things, as does Zach Evans, who is somebody that I have seen run many of these races, and I know they get crazy, so I'm excited to see how this goes. You see the times on your screen. Pretty close, actually. 2/10 separating the top 7. Looked like Mark just kind of went out there to try to run some laps to say he did. I believe we are going to be getting ready to rip here. Lights are out on the pace car.
2 to green, 2 to green.
2 to green, never mind. Thank you, Carlos. I would imagine so. I mean, these guys are pretty talented people, pretty talented drivers, so I would imagine we're going to see some close racing. You see the bright James Watson always has those bright colors on that number 39 machine. Cale Pocock on the board as the 7, as is James on the board in the 8, but they are in the 39 and 60 respectively on your screens. Chad Frankenfield bringing a pretty plain looking car. I'm not usually used to seeing Chad in those, but looks pretty great tonight. Presley Sora there in the 98. See, once again, Carlos in that 702, that Barbie mobile. Looking really good, looking really stout.
You thank Chad for my number.
I was going to say it's not a usual Carlos number, but pace car is in. Cale Pocock's going to roll through turns 3 and 4 into the restart zone. Green flag is out. We're racing an IRP for the Hoosier 50. James running all the way up the racetrack. Cale going to stick it to the bottom. I think James is going to get the run out here. Oh, Chad with a huge run on the outside. They're 3 wide momentarily. Carlos going to back out of it. Presley Soares down a little bit. Chad Frankenfield is up to second. Cale Pocock back to third. James Watson leads lap 1. Carlos Shocking positioned with Hunter Smith. Cale Pocock trying to fend off Presley Sora. A lot of this, Chris, that I'm not used to seeing, and I think a lot of it too, is the lack of downforce on these things that I would imagine. Like, I was watching practice. It looks like there's like a tight sensation and a loose sensation at the same time, where it kind of fights with itself. Is Cale Pocock now side by side with Presley Sora for the 3rd spot. Presley going to sneak on by with that. go to your. We're gonna troubleshoot some audio here, folks. Go to your properties on your mic. I just realized I can't see what you're looking at.
There we go. Now I'm being heard.
Oh, we got a battle for the lead. Chad Frankenfield, James Watson. Chad had a huge run down the front straightaway there. We're already working lap 6 of 50 here. Chad's kind of running like a high in and diamonding out to get that run down the straightaways. That time he's going to go middle. James going to run the top.
Well, I would imagine Chad's probably ran 500 or 600 laps in preparation for tonight.
Chad's also very, you know, I believe his favorite race that we run every year is the Indy 500. So this week probably just gets him really excited. And probably something he looks forward to is he's putting all the pressure on James Watson. Presley Sora slowly working his way back up to these two. James not cracking under pressure, though. Sticking to that top side, I would have to imagine he's probably not going to move off of that. Here comes Presley Sora looking to the outside of Chad Frankenfield. Nothing going to come of it through 1 and 2, but a huge run down the back straightaway. He's now to the back of car number 15.
Well, I would imagine right here what we're seeing is they're both probably a little better than James right now. Ooh, as Chad clips the wall there just a little bit. But it's one of those things where if you try to make the pass and you don't make it, you know, now Chad's in a spot where he could be third all of a sudden. And if it runs green, it's going to be hard to get back by Presley there. So he's trying to make a move without getting himself in too much trouble.
Ooh, they're going to be side by side down the front straightaway. James into the wall. Chad's probably just going to try to slide up. James not going to let him. He's into the outside wall.
I would imagine James is going to be pretty frustrated. I think he had a little bit of contact there in 3 and 4. Chad tried to clear himself there in 1 and 2. Wasn't quite clear. Presley's going to go around both of them, or tried to go around both of them. Once again, Chad is being super aggressive here.
Presley going to be able to sneak back by. James probably pretty frustrated. Here comes Cale Pocock. He's now back up to the back of James Watson. Hunter Smith kind of looking in the distance. I would have to imagine that all of this is kind of transpired from the James and Chad contact that kind of slowed everybody up. It's allowed a lot of these guys to catch back up. We're working lap 12 now of 50 here.
I'm going to tell you,
inside of James.
I know our racing buddy in here, racing/broadcast buddy, Carlos is in here. And Carlos, if you can hear us, Chad is working on trying to give you a shot to win this race because he's trying to take out 4 all in one good swipe here.
Listen, Chad right now is driving like a madman because he failed to win the first race, and so he's now disappointed himself and his whole family because you know this is his thing, and he didn't come through on the first one. So he's trying to do the best he can to come through in the second one. But well, I mean, if he overdrives it, touches the wall a little too hard, he may find himself finishing behind me, which is a real insult.
I was gonna say it's I will say in most scenarios, Carlos, I would not mind finishing behind you. However, from what you were saying, I feel like you're struggling a lot more than anybody else is. So that would be just you're surviving, and if they finish behind you, they did not do that. So I think that has to be ultimate goal number 1. Oh, we got smoke already.
Oh, somebody who's not surviving.
Mark, I think Mark.
He's all right. He's all right. He didn't hit nothing.
All right, cool. Yeah, he was behind me. Now he's no longer there.
He's right in front of the leaders now. He's going to get it passed by all the leaders, I think.
Able to keep it. I don't know if he hit the inside wall or not. I would have to imagine he probably just spun it out.
Look how dirty the track is down there. He's throwing dirt everywhere.
Nobody's running there, so now he's just kicking that all up onto the racetrack as everybody works their way around him. Doing a good job to stay out of the way, though. It's our top 5 are really under a blanket here. 1 second separates all of them.
I'll tell you what, Mark is running the grass line right there. That was not good.
No, I can't imagine the tires are going to be too happy with that. As he's trying to clean them off and try to get back going here. Cale Pocock still putting all that pressure on James Watson. James is kind of doing his thing right now, not making any mistakes, holding to his lane. Cale kind of trying to work a way around him. I've seen Cale try the bottom. I've seen him try the middle. I think that is probably one thing that has to feel pretty different to these guys is not really having the dirty air effect in these things. I don't think these things are nearly as aerodynamic as what we're used to seeing with the Indy cars or even the stock cars if you watch that.
tell you what, Kale's running lower than I've seen anybody go, trying to find some grip down there, and he's now got to be defensive there a little bit with Hunter Smith, as Hunter's closed right in on this group. And as I say that, Hunter clips the wall. These cars seem to be pretty tough. These guys in an open wheel car to be hitting the wall as much as they are, they're not bending anything up.
That's surprising. I mean, I watched in practice and qualifying from what I saw. A couple guys got into the wall, and it looked like the car just wasn't having it. Like it was a little bit more vulnerable than I would have expected, but I'm not seeing that right now with how often these guys are tagging the wall. Carlos is reporting some smoke up here.
And we've got a caution. Oh, and oh man, I believe it's Mark.
Oh man. Gonna look on the replay. Oh no.
That's not good for Mark.
That's what I did in practice a lot.
Let's see what happened here.
You know, Mark took a right turn. Took a right there, heading into a left-hand turn. I'm not sure.
Okay, listen. Have you seen how small for wheelbase these cars are? If you even think about moving your wheel a little bit to the right, that car is heading there.
Well, I'll tell you what. He turned hard to the right, and then it did not turn back to. Well, now the right front's broke on that machine.
Yeah, I don't think there's any fixing that one. Well, there's the yellow that some of these guys wanted. I'm sure, Carlos, you were looking forward to that happening. So that's going to bring you back closer to the field. Looking at your grid right now, Presley Sora is your leader. We're getting the 1 to green signal here. James Watson lines up second, Chad Frankenfield third. So James actually got back around Chad somehow in all of that. Didn't remember seeing that happen, but I could be wrong.
I didn't remember seeing that happen either.
Second. Cale Pocock fourth, Hunter Smith fifth, AJ Hobson sixth, and Carlos seventh. Single file restarts here. So Presley's going to line him up on that outside lane. Pace car is in. Green flag back in the air. James Watson with a good jump. He's going to make a little bit of contact with the rear of Presley Sora there. Nothing crazy though. Presley's going to kind of be able to gap him out just a little bit there. Just a little bit of enough of a gap to kind of defend himself for now. Chad Frankenfield did not get a great restart. Cale Pocock now pressuring him for the third spot. Here comes Hunter Smith to the outside of Cale, looking to make something happen. Nothing going to happen that time by.
We're seeing these front two.
Pretty spaced out.
Yeah, these front two have kind of gotten away once again.
Kind of curious to see as the run goes on. I mean, we're already on lap 25. Obviously, these guys don't have another set of tires in the pit, so what they're on is what they got. If anybody is saving tire, I'm curious to see if it's going to be as much of a factor. I would imagine maybe in a 50-lap race. If it is going to be a factor, it probably won't be until about 10 or 15 to go, but nonetheless, still could be a factor for another late yellow. Chad Frankenfield now to the back bumper, James Watson. James is struggling just a little bit here. Presley Sora's kind of pulled away on him. Here comes Chad down to the inside.
Chad giving a lot of room here to James this time.
Yeah, James just going to let him go. I think James knows he's struggling. Here comes Cale Pocock with a huge send. All the way to the bottom using all that racetrack. Hunter Smith now going to be looking on the both of these guys. It's like you said earlier, if you go for a move like that, like Cale Pocock did, and you don't get it done, you kind of just end up side by side with that guy, and then you allow the car behind to kind of make a huge run, and here comes Hunter Smith.
Yeah, Cale's going to lose that spot. All of a sudden, Hunter's trying to break into the top three here. And Cale's still not to the top. Cale might give up a spot to AJ back there.
Hunter Smith all over James Watson. Just trying to wonder if James might have a little bit of damage maybe from getting that outside wall. Obviously, it's not affecting him too much. He's still able to run and compete pretty well. He's running third right now, but the factors of that little bit of contact. Cale Pocock is side by side with AJ Hobson still. Finally, AJ's going to get by him, so Cale probably feeling the frustration there. We're trying to make that move on James Watson that ultimately pushed him from fourth all the way back to seventh or sixth. Sorry. We are 21 to go this time by. Presley Sora going to get us down there. Got a pretty good lead on Chad Frankenfield, about 7/10 of a second. This is the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment between James Watson and Hunter Smith. And Hunter Smith has not moved off of the back of James Watson. So I'm sure Hunter is probably trying to figure out what he's got to do. He's going to make a send here down to the bottom of the racetrack. James going to get the run off the corner. You see him cutting down to kind of get that run off the center to the exit. And they're
Ooh,
still going to be
Chad
side by side
about wrecked.
towards 1 and 2. Yeah, that was huge time loss there for Chad. That was about 0.3 of a second. That's almost going to put him in the clutches of Hunter Smith, who finally gets by James Watson.
And I gotta think Hunter Smith is looking forward to what's happening this Saturday with the sports car series starting up. Hunter's a pretty good little road racer that kicks off at Laguna Seca, I believe at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. So if you're into that, make sure you tune in.
Yeah, I have not ran any laps yet, but myself and Cameron Rich are going to be driving for our team, so it's going to be fun. Get a little start to that, get back in the sports car rhythm. I know it was a huge blast for us to run last season. I know everybody enjoyed it. Obviously, Hunter Smith, Ryan Scholl, Justin Vandermarl, they do a great job putting that on. So if you are a fan of sports car racing and endurance racing, be sure to check that out. Cheer everybody on. It's a 4-hour race, so I think it does start at 11, so I would assume probably around 3 p.m. it will be wrapping up.
And I will be partaking in that as well. But I, just like you, I have not seen Laguna Seca just yet. So hopefully I'll get some track time before that race starts on Saturday.
I will say the advantage that, because I was telling Cam the same thing, that it's in so many video games that at some point in time everybody's encountered it, I feel. So nobody should be too much of a stranger to it. As we see Hunter Smith now to the back of Chad Frankenfield. Chad's kind of falling back to these two. It was about 1 second, I would say, to pressure sore at the time. It's now 1.5 seconds. So Hunter Smith putting all that pressure on Chad Frankenfield. Oh, we got a spinner. I hear tires squealing. Maybe not a spinner. Somebody got loose. No, we got a spinner. AJ Hobson.
Let's see if we can take a look. He's going to get up into the wall a little bit. Going to spin.
Just got too tight. Tried to get it back down the racetrack, and I would have to imagine it kind of goes right back into what Carlos was saying about if you put too much wheel into it, even to the right, then it would snap. But that was just a whole lot of wheel to the left, and that thing got uncomfortable there and put Hobson to the infield. Working lap 38, Chad Frankenfield gapped Hunter Smith just a little bit. That's obviously the fight for second. Presley Sora is your leader. He's got about 1.5 seconds over Chad Frankenfield in this group.
Now, I know you said you didn't think dirty air was too big of a factor, but I almost wonder if it is. You know, we got our driver out there, Carlos. Do you feel like when you're running behind somebody, it's a little different than when you're in some cleaner air?
It's a very hard question to answer, considering I don't really get to be close enough to anybody. I really don't think dirty air is going to be a factor. From the little bit I was behind somebody on a restart, it feels more like you just have to get the better power off the corner. I feel like that's going to be very important.
So you heard it there from Carlos. There is no real dirty air advantage or disadvantage. It's just you catch a guy and you can't pass him, and we're seeing that here with Hunter Smith. He drove right to Chad, and now he's kind of stuck about a car length and a half back. And James has driven right back to both of these guys, and he's kind of stuck. They're about the same distance apart right here.
And I mean, with 9 to go, I think IRP also is just one of those tracks where I wouldn't say it's one lane dominant, but oh, somebody's spinning out again. I hear another spinner.
Peacock, Kale.
He's down on the infield. Oh, he is crab walking. That is not good.
Here he is trying a different line, really loose. He's at the drift show or something out here, and oh, it's pretty hard there on the front stretch.
Yeah, that thing is broken. He's going to bring it down pit road, not bring out a yellow. I've never seen a car move like that. As you see Hunter Smith still working Chad Frankenfield, James Watson just behind him. So we are now working, coming to 7 to go this time, Presley Sora at the stripe. As I was saying, I don't think IRP is very one-lane dominant, but even then, when you're trying to pass somebody, if there's a better lane at the time, it's going to be a lot harder to get them away from that line or kind of take it away from them. But also just, it's like we saw earlier with Kale trying to make that move on James. You lose so many positions that Hunter's probably just trying to wait to see if Chad will make a mistake and then kind of open that door for him himself. As Hunter keeps going a little bit further up the racetrack, I've noticed Chad's kind of middle to the bottom of the racetrack, kind of slowly sliding up on center of the corner to cut down. But Hunter Smith has kind of been half a lane or about a lane higher than Chad Frankenfield most of the time. So he's trying to get that run out of the corner. 5 laps to go this time by.
And you might think that there's no chance that Hunter and Chad wreck each other. They're teammates, and they'll race it out and not even take advantage of each other. But if you think that, you do not know what it's like to be a teammate with Chad. And nothing's given, everything's earned. 110, you're going to race your teammate just as hard, if not harder than you race everybody else. So if they do get side by side, there's not going to be any extra room given because they come from the same shop.
Absolutely not. I've kind of seen it firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand racing Chad. And, it's never a fun end of the stick to be on. Chad's a very, I wouldn't say mirror driver, but he's a very defensive driver. Doesn't like to let anybody pass, and Hunter Smith, even if he is quicker than him, just like you said, I don't expect any extra room to be given. But working 2 laps to go this time by Presley Sora at the stripe, 2.2 seconds of a lead over Chad Frankenfield. Don't know if Hunter Smith is going to get to him. Chad kind of caught the wall just a little bit there on exit, nothing too crazy. But he did kind of lose a little bit of time to Hunter Smith, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, and I think that battle is going to be pretty well over at this point. We're going to take a look here at Presley Sora getting the white
flag. Kind of jumped out to the lead, took advantage on that restart, drove away from everybody. He's got about a 2-second lead over Chad Frankenfield now. He's definitely kind of back off just a little bit. Nothing at risk here, trying to just not make a mistake. And out of turns 3 and 4, Presley Sora is going to win the Hoosier 50 to open up Carb night festivities. Celebrate with a huge hit to the inside wall. Chad Frankenfield second. Oh, Hunter Smith third. James Watson 4th. Carlos Acosta P5, buddy. Way to keep it on the racetrack.
Yeah, boy, got a top 5.
AJ Hobson, Cale Pocock, and Mark Rebelos. That rounds out your field. And I don't think we're doing interviews for these yet. I think that was the word from the boss man.
Really?
Yeah. So, let these guys go and get ready to run some practice laps in the next cars. I believe the next race up is going to be the USF 2000s. So we are going to cut away from this after we watch Presley Sora do his burnout. We're going to get that set up, and we will be right back with you guys at, I believe, 8:45 Eastern, so about 30 minutes. And we will be right back with you here on the ERN.
This is Bobby Bolin from Tom Bolin Ford, and I have huge news for you. Right now, we are offering interest rates as low as 3.99 on most of our used cars. That's right, 3.99 happening right now. And it gets even better. These used vehicles come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty, giving you protection for the long haul. This is your chance to save big with incredible rates and shop our wide variety of trucks, vans, SUVs, and cars. Only at Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Indianapolis Raceway Park, here for preparation with the Freedom 50. You just saw the Hoosier 50 earlier. This time we're not going to be using the sprint cars, we're going to be using the USF 2000s. And we have the grid set. Everybody's ready to go. We're just waiting out this last minute and a half or so in qualifying. No tires in the pits once again for these guys, and it's looking like lap times are about 20.2 to 20.6 seconds. As I believe that is Camargo, who is just not having
that
a
is
good
Hunter
time
Smith.
right now. Oh, that's Hunter Smith. Okay.
He's not even a ball.
Oh, Camargo is a lighter color. I see. There's like, they're not inverted, but in this shade, it looked like it could have been. Yeah, no, Hunter Smith is not having a good time. It's, kicking grass all over that lower group of the racetrack. Thankfully, that's not going to matter. On the pole here for the Freedom 50 is Chad Frankenfield. Presley Sora will line up second to him. Third, Matt Wagner. Fourth is Camargo. I would try to pronounce your first name. However, I feel like I would slaughter it, and I would feel bad. And I want to do you justice. So James Watson will line up fifth. Chris Albright sixth. Carlos Acosta will line up seventh. Yeah, you heard it. It's Carlos Acosta. It says Carlos Acosta there. On our screens, it's ERN Carlos DaCosta. Chad didn't change it, so we're going to clown him. And Hunter Smith will line up in 8th. Mark Rebelos and Cale Pocock did not join this one. So we lose 2, but we gain 2. So we still have a field of 8 here tonight. Get a look
8
at
people,
those.
and we're still going to take the whole time to grid. What are we doing, Matt? What are we doing?
He's the only one. There he is.
I'm
Peer pressure,
already-
folks. It works. Get a look at those liveries. Chad Frankenfield repping the Lucas Oil colors, Valvoline color. I don't know what kind of wrap we got there. Just blue, white, and red. Presley Sora in that all black number 98. Camargo in the number 59, white and green, with the Team Watson Racing colors on the nose.
I got to tell you, this Matt car, I was going to say, John Deere green right there.
Yeah, it's as John Deere green as it gets. Repping the green and yellow.
Are there any water towers right here?
I would have to imagine probably not.
Somebody
It's
can...
not quite a hot summer night.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to declare their love for Charlene by the end of the night, though.
James Watson in a very colorful, very nice and slick looking Team Watson Racing Setups number 39 machine with the rainbow with the blue. We love to see it. Carlos once again repping the Barbie colors for us. Got a Barbie mobile in all 3 of these races, so he will be easily spottable tonight. And you see Hunter Smith in that army green on the outside, Chris Albright in the white and orange number 11 machine, and Camargo, as I already mentioned, in the army green with like a cream color secondary there. Looking pretty good, looking pretty stout. These guys are ready to rip. Chad Frankenfield, Presley Sora, that's your front row. They roll through turns 3 and 4. Oh, Chad, we're close. We're real close.
This is what we want to
Alright.
see right here on lap 0 of 50.
Green flag is out. Chad Frankenfield with a good jump. Presley Sora gets 1, 2. They're still side by side. They will be as we head towards turns 1 and 2. Frankenfield gets clear for the moment. Presley Sora slides into second. Here comes Camargo on the outside of Matt Wagner. James Watson looking to make it 3. Nothing of it. Already seeing similar lines, but also different lines compared to what we saw in the sprint car. I think these things are probably a little bit more planted in the front end. Chad Frankenfield able to run that middle and not really stressing too much. See guys running the outside wall, though. You've seen that. There's James Watson. He's already up to 4th. Smith and that army green. These guys, what I am noticing about IRP is I feel like they're hitting the wall every time they come off the corner because of how close they are to the wall, but they're not. It just looks like it because the angle we have there out of 4. Chad Frankenfield continues to lead Presley Sora. Camargo up to 3rd. Matt Wagner did not get the start he wanted. He is back to now the 6th spot.
He's looking pretty tight there, too. I think he had to lift off of 4, which allowed Hunter to get the run. Hunter just couldn't quite get the clear.
Comes Hunter Smith with another sin. Nothing going to come of that, but he's going to put himself, we saw it in the sprint car race. Here comes Chris Albright in position to kind of pass him up. He's going to do that. Huge run on the outside. Hunter's going to have to send it again, but he's not going to clear him. So that should put Chris Albright just about completely ahead of him. Nope, not quite. Didn't really get the run out of turn 2 there. Hunter's going to send it again. I think he's going to get clear of him this time. Chris Albright up to position number 6. Hunter Smith going to have to settle for 7th for now. Back up front, Frankenfield and Sora are a little bit closer than they were, and that's also brought Camargo up there with them. So they are 1, 2, 3. James Watson slowly catching up to the back of these guys as Matt Wagner seems to have kind of sorted himself out. He's gotten a little bit more comfortable, maybe not under the pressure of fighting cars off behind him, and a little bit clean air off the nose. We've got about half a second to James Watson. We run on board with Chad Frankenfield and see the line that he's running. About middle of the racetrack, all the way up to the wall, almost into the outside wall was Presley Sora that time. And while we've got him here again, Carlos, buddy, how are we feeling? What are we feeling with the car compared to the sprint car?
Nice and smooth. I can definitely. It's definitely a lot more planted, like you guys mentioned. I can drive the car. I can drive it in there nice and pretty deep in there, and it'll stick, and I can even get back on the throttle as quickly as I want to. I can give it full beans without fear of me spinning out. I'm over here just trying to save some tires, just in case there's like a late race caution, because ran like 10 laps and it already went down 8%.
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't know how loose this thing gets on the long run, but hearing that it is more planted, it's kind of what I expected. I'm sure the dirty air aspect is probably there compared to what it was with the sprint car. We're kind of seeing Presley soaring it. Just about 2.5 tenths off of Chad Frankenfield, not able to break through that. I think we are kind of seeing a one-line dominant kind of race right now, with it being that middle of the racetrack to the top.
I've noticed they're running a lot lower over here than they were in that sprint car.
Yeah.
Almost like they're really tight.
Especially.
Like they're using that bottom line to churn down there, cutting across that seam.
Because it's like they're starting middle, and then they're maybe kind of sliding up high just a little bit, and then they're yanking it to try to get it to rotate, and it's working. Chad Frankenfield and Precisora. Camargo has closed up just a little bit, kind of biding his time. James Watson also closed up just a little bit. Matt Wagner getting ever so closer to the back of the James Watson machine, but these guys are.
Did you just see the wiggle from Chad into 3?
I did. Oh, that's going to allow Precisora with a run. The battle is on. Precisora all the way to the bottom of the racetrack underneath that yellow line.
Oh man, he's really loose down there, cutting across all that.
Oh, they're still side by side. Chad with a cutback. Chad's going to have to do what Presley did, maybe not as bad to that extent. Presley's going to do the opposite. Cut back again by Precisora down to the inside. Going to have a chance as we head towards turn 1. Here comes Camargo getting close for this battle. Presley's going to have to stick it. He does. Chad's kind of getting tight there. Not able to cut down the racetrack like we've seen him. Presley's not side by side, but I would expect. Yep, here we go. Here's another lunge. Oh, he's going to have to back out of it. Almost contact with car number 15. Here comes Camargo to take advantage of Presley.
All it took was that one wiggle out of Chad, and Presley tried to jump all over him.
I mean, you saw what that did for Camargo. That gap was probably about 7/10 of a second, and he was right up to the back bumper of those guys, and obviously Presley went for a lunge, wasn't able to do anything with it, so he got tight. Camargo had to back out. Now we're kind of really spread out between all 3 of these guys, but that's just how quick this race can change for these guys, folks. I mean, in the sprint car race, it wasn't this bad because they weren't really going as fast, but we still had that effect of if you tried to pass somebody and you didn't get it done, you were putting yourself in a position where you could be vulnerable to the car behind. We've seen that now once, and I feel like we're definitely going to see it again by the time this race is over.
And I'm not sure what happened. I don't have anything where there was a wreck, but Hunter Smith has pulled into the pits, and he's done. He has gotten out.
Yeah,
he's going to watch this.
It was right in front of me. Nothing happened. He just started losing pace, and I guess he called it a night.
Yeah. No contact with the wall or anything anywhere, so just decided to call it quits. We'll go ahead and get ready for the Freedom 75. Try to get a little bit more comfortable with that USF Pro 2000 before we get into that thing. Obviously, this is just the 2000. This is the Pro 2000. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not going to lie to you. But nonetheless, James Watson under heavy pressure from Matt Wagner, who has gotten back to him. Chris Albright follows closely, and I have to imagine, much to what Carlos was saying earlier, maybe tire wear becoming a factor for some of these guys, or is this James Watson saving? We know James is pretty good about taking care of his stuff. He's also really good at these kind of weird, I wouldn't say weird, this isn't a weird car track combo, but the car track combos that might catch certain people off guard. And I would have to imagine that, I can tell you right now, this would catch me off guard. So this is right up James Watson's alley.
Yeah, it would catch me off guard as well there, Ty. I'm not very familiar with the open wheel stuff, and when I have ran, I think I ran one season here in Elite. It's totally different than anything I have ever been a part of before. The way that these things wear out, the way that they change over the course of a run, and the in-car. There's a lot of in-car tools that these guys. I don't know if they have it in these cars specifically, but on the open wheel side, they got a ton of tools that can change the bounce of the car that we just don't have access to on the oval side.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've heard just being in the Discord and hearing the talks about the weight jacker and all the slight changes. I mean, those things can. You adjust the weight jacker a little bit, you might be finding a 1/10 or 2/10 of a second in qualifying trim. And obviously, if you didn't watch qualifying last week, the field is set for Thursday's 16th running of the Lucas Oil Racing School Indy 500. So that is something that if you have not seen before, or seen it and you're watching this in preparation for that, if you're excited, be sure to tune in on Thursday for that. It's going to be a great time. It always is. It's a huge spectacle for these guys, and it's probably one of our biggest races every year. See Matt Wagner all the way to the back bumper. James Watson. Now, I say back bumper. I'm used to back bumpers being a thing. This is not a thing. That's the gearbox. Well, it's not even the gearbox. I don't know, is it the gearbox?
I believe it is the gearbox.
Okay. So I'm not wrong in that regard, but I am wrong in the fact that I said bumper. Meanwhile, Presley Sora has closed up to the back of Chad Frankenfield. They had about a second and a half back to third. We're seeing that just ahead of your screen, James Watson and Matt Wagner. That is the battle for fourth. But Presley Sora now within 0.2 of a second, almost 1/10 of a second of Chad Frankenfield, working lap 26. We just hit the halfway point for these guys. 24 to go this time by. And I would have to imagine that we're not going to see the lunge that we've seen Presley do before, just because at this point in the race, tire wear is in effect. If he sends it down there, it's probably not going to stick as well as it did the first couple times. So
Well, I think he learned. He cut all the way across the apron, and I think that was a little bit too low as far as, getting down there on just not quite enough banking. I think if he's going to go down there, he doesn't want to cross that yellow line. You see Chad trying to take it away right there, but Chad's going to mess up his own corner exit there. But he impeded Presley enough there in the middle of the corner to be able to kind of keep that gap.
And I think when you get to that center point in the corner and somebody they put their car in front of yours, that air change, you feel it immediately. I'm sure. I know it's a huge thing for us in the next gen car, even in the Grand National car as well.
And how frustrating is that? Because that guy did it on purpose. He cut across your nose, dump air on purpose. That has got to be just the most frustrating thing that there is.
Oh, I mean, you are there's no worse feeling than knowing that, especially, we love Chad. Well, I wouldn't say love Chad, but
Presley.
Chad. Oh, Presley into the wall.
That was a pretty significant hit. I got to think that might have bent something.
Front wing is still on the car. Maybe get a look at Chad's right front as well, just to kind of compare and see if we're...
Looks pretty
about
similar.
the same. Yeah. I don't think there's anything crazy different there, so maybe a lucky break there for Presley Sora. We saw that. I mean, that was pretty rough, and that was right off the 2. That was on the back straightaway.
I got to think Presley's got to think he got away with something there. You don't typically hit the wall like that and get away with it.
No, not in an open wheel car for sure. I mean, these things are completely different with what we drive. I mean, Chris, we drive tanks on Wednesdays compared to these things. The next gen car is incredibly durable. Other than the toe link, if you hit the toe link, you're going to be pretty beat up. But those things can take a beating. These open wheel cars are a lot more fragile with the way that you would hit the wall. And I mean, Presley's running Chad back down, so it clearly can't be too bad. You're looking to battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th on your screen. Matt Wagner with a huge send to the bottom of the racetrack to try to clear James Watson. He will not get it done. James Watson's going to fight back on the outside lane. I would have to imagine that's once again going to leave Matt Wagner open for a move from Chris Albright if he's able to do it. And I think he's going to. I think he's going to be to the outside of Matt Wagner. Yep, there we go. Matt's still making it work, though. He's holding it down there. He's trying. He's not giving up. He's going to get clear of Albright, actually, so able to kind of stop the bleeding there in that regard. Wasn't sure if that was going to happen, but it did. And Presley Sora, once again, it was like 3.6. Chad Frankenfield is kind of getting him on corner entry, but Presley's a lot better on the exit. You see that gap going down to about 0.26 on corner exit. So Presley fighting for the run off, Chad taking the run through the center. And that's going to make it exciting. You see it bound to about 0.2 of a second between this front two with 14 laps to go. So I think we can absolutely write out the car being damaged significantly. Did Chad just catch the wall?
I don't think so. I think he just got really tight there, though.
Okay. It looked like I thought for a second he might have got a piece of it, but apparently not. Something to keep your eye on, though. If he's getting that that tight through 3 and 4, it's gonna start to affect him.
One thing I will say, just from my experience running around here in a stock car, is the line that Chad is running, you have to be perfect every time. When you're going to use that seam to turn, you have to be perfect. It's a kind of a rhythm line. Hit it the same every time, and if you miss it just once, you're going to give up a bunch of time. Presley, well, now Presley's going to turn across the seam, but Presley had been staying above the seam, which means it doesn't have to necessarily be perfect every single time like Chad has to be.
Huge run down here, down the back straightaway with Presley Sora. Started it high, cut it low. He's going to stick to the outside. And now this aerial shot kind of gives us a really good look at the difference here. You see Chad pulls so much on the center of the corner, and Presley closes it right back up on corner exit. Faked a move that time, trying to see if Chad would try to defend it. He does not. But it's enough for Presley Sora to have an even better run down the back straightaway this time. I don't think he's going to do much with it. He will down to the inside.
Oh, big send. Big send.
Huge send. Loose again. Chad's going to get underneath him. Oh, where James Watson is around. Battle for the lead and a battle for fourth.
Ooh, a little bit of net code, which I'm sure James is just going to be so thrilled to hear that was net code, but
he's definitely not going to be a huge fan of that. But iRacing giveth and iRacing taketh away, and iRacing took a chunk out of his left rear right there. I know there was a battle between him and Matt Wagner, and I would have to imagine that subsided. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad netcode. I feel like netcode's been really bad lately on iRacing. James Watson, though, doesn't look too bad.
Presley's got to be disappointed with that, because he was finally up there trying to make that pass. I understand he had just given the spot back, but kind of the way it was playing out was they were going to race, and now the leader has quite the advantage on these restarts, so he's kind of going to have to set all this up and do it again.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's got to be pretty frustrating just because he had such a good run, and I feel like he at least knows now that he's able to do it. He has his pattern down of what he needs to do. He saw that Chad kind of went to defend it that one time, and it really put Chad in a bad spot on the next corner. So if he's able to do that again, I think he seems to be quicker than Chad, as we're 1 to green this time by, so we'll restart here. I think Chad is completely on the defensive, and if you're Presley Sora, you at least know that you have it in you to make that pass. You just got to get it to stay green this time, as we will have, what is that, 6 laps to go, sorry, on this restart.
I do not believe we have any green white checkers tonight either.
I don't think we do. I can check. Let's see. I don't see any. I could be wrong, though. Pace car is in. Chad Frankenfield, Presley Sora, Camargo, Albright, Wagner, Acosta. That is the cars on the racetrack. Good restart for Chad Frankenfield. Presley Sora's a little bit behind him. Obviously, the leader gets the advantage there, so that's going to play out in his favor. Everybody else gets going decently, but 0.3 of a second. That's the gap between Chad Frankenfield and Presley Sora. 5 laps to go this time by. Presley on the wall, trying to get the run through the exit of the corner. Have to see how that's going to play out for him.
And we saw it earlier. It took him 2, 3, 4 laps to close in from the gap this far back. So he's got to get up there and get on it now.
Chad sticking to that lower to bottom groove. 2.5 of a second is the gap that time into 1 and 2. 4 laps to go for Chad Frankenfield in the Freedom 50. Gap gets down to about the same that it did through 1 and 2. Presley still kind of running about half a groove higher than Chad Frankenfield, maximizing all the racetrack. Presley did not gain anything on exit there that time by.
I got to tell you, I think for Chad, this is looking pretty good. I think Chad's got to be feeling pretty good about this gap. Just can't make a mistake. I think if I'm Chad, I'm going to stay off of that seam right now. I'm not going to go mess with that seam unless he closes in and forces me to have to go back down there to try to find speed.
2 laps to go for Presley Sora to try to hunt down Chad Frankenfield. Camargo is 3rd, Albright 4th, Wagner 5th. They're side by side for 4th. Wagner almost got into the side of Albright. Chad Frankenfield does not want to see that. out of turn 4. White flag this time by for driver number 15. Would have to imagine, unless we see a Hail Melon kind of move from Presley Sora, I don't think anything's going to happen. Presley's actually going to go up and tag the outside wall, it looked like there momentarily. He's going to toss it in. Nothing's going to come out of it. At a turn 4, Chad Frankenfield wins the Freedom 50. Presley Sora 2nd. Camargo 3rd. Wagner 4th. Albright 5th. And Carlos Acosta P6. We did say anything but last, Carlos.
Yeah. Phil, just one spot short of a top 5, but I'll take it.
Kept it on the racetrack. That's what matters. Fireworks for the second race here, and you will see Chad Frankenfield burn it down for us.
I believe we had this car return to the racetrack, and he's just going to stop. Okay.
10-4. Chad Frankenfield burns it down. Once again, folks, don't go anywhere. Got the Freedom 75 in the USF 2000 with the Pro variant. I don't know. Again, I don't know what changes. I really wish I could tell you. I can yap about race cars on a racetrack, but I can't tell you what's different in them. So we will be back at, I believe, get the time right for you here, in about 15 minutes. So back at 9:30.
This is Bobby Bolin from Tom. Right now at Tom Bolin Ford, we're offering X-Plan pricing for everyone. Yes, you heard me right, everyone. That means every customer can take advantage of special pricing normally reserved for employees of Ford partner companies. And all you have to do is walk through the door at Tom Bolin Ford. And it gets even better. Also receive a Bolin lifetime powertrain warranty, giving you long-term confidence for the miles ahead. Unbeatable pricing, lifetime protection, and a huge selection waiting for you right now. Only at Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Detroit, Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education. Back here at the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park for race number 3 tonight. This is the Freedom 75 here, and same field for the most part. We are down 1. Carlos Acosta did not have the car, I don't think, so he's not able to take part in it, which means that it's just me and Chris up here. But nonetheless, 7 guys are ready to take on this race. Presley Sora is your pole sitter. Chris Albright 2nd. 3rd for James Watson. 4th for Chad Frankenfield. 5th for Camargo. 6th, Samuel Malone. And rounding out the field in P7 is Matt Wagner. 75 laps around this track, you guessed it. Should be pretty good one here. 19.4 seconds is your pole time by Presley Sora, so about 0.8 of a second quicker than the USF 2000s that we saw go around this place. Pace car is in. Into the restart zone goes the field. Out of turns 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. Presley Sora with a decent jump. Still side by side for the lead for the most part. Here comes James Watson looking underneath Chris Albright for 2nd. He's going to look under Presley Sora for the moment for the lead. Nothing coming of it. He's going to decide to slide back into 2nd. Presley Sora is going to lead lap 1. Samuel Malone and Matt Wagner looking a little out of shape there for a second. Didn't look too comfortable. Oh, Presley Sora, big wiggle out of turn 2. Here comes James Watson to the inside. He's rocking in the back. Hangs on.
Saved it. What a save. We're taking another look.
He gets a big wiggle on the exit, but he's able to hold on to it. What a save. It's back out front. Battle for the lead. James Watson, Presley Sora side by side, heading towards turns 3 and 4. Watson on the bottom. We've seen the seam kind of be a problem for these guys. Oh, Presley Sora, big wiggle. James not able to kind of fight on the bottom. Chad Frankenfield, Chris Albright, they fight for the third position behind these two. Frankenfield looking down low. Still side by side, gets a better run through the corner. Here comes Albright with a run off of the corner. Still side by side through 1 and 2.
Big
Chad with a
send.
huge send.
Big send.
Oh, no!
Contact. Tally 15. Tally 15.
That should be a yellow. I don't know how it wasn't, but we're still fine. No yellow, but Chad Frankenfield. Yeah. I don't know if we need to take much of a look at that one.
I think what happens here is Chad tries to go for that slide job, and he just didn't fully commit.
No. Got loose on the seam, yeah. But then at that point, kind of just washed up across the nose of Chris Albright. I believe that is going to probably end his day. You see him headed down pit road. Meanwhile, still out front, James Watson, Presley Sora, battle for the lead. James in the outside wall, maybe net code.
I think Presley was up in it too. Neither one of them got off that corner very good.
Chad Frankenfield kind of looms in the distance there, working lap 8 of 75. James trying to figure out a lane to where when he gets to Presley, Presley's big loose out of 4 and 2. He's been loose out of both of those corners. So, doesn't look too comfortable. Huge wiggles for both of them there. I don't know if that's him getting loose or if that's the car, but it looks like they're not comfortable.
I would imagine as it gets later, every race, you're probably getting more horsepower and a little bit less downforce. So I would imagine this is the most horsepower they're going to have tonight. This is our last race of the night. This is as fast as they're going to go around here and most on edge, and it definitely looks it.
Presley running that top side. James has kind of been on the top side for the last couple laps. They're both trying different things. Chad Frankenfield and Camargo now loom in the background there. Our top 4 within 1.3 seconds of each other. Watson still putting pressure all over Presley Sora. Presley has really done a good job. Other than when they were side by side and that big wiggle he had, he has not shown any mistakes. So he's doing a great job. Able to keep his head on a swivel there. James Watson. I think James has ran really good on all 3 of these races so far. He just hasn't really had the finish that he's probably been in tune for.
Well, and you mentioned how good he's ran. Yeah, I think this leader, Presley, he's been in the first or second about all night in all these different vehicles. So a lot of these guys on the open wheel side, we talked about Chad every race. I know Chad just had some contact with Chris out there, but yeah, these 3 have kind of been 3 of the big players all night long across all 3 of these totally different kinds of cars out here.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Freedom 100 earlier. Chad Frankenfield, I believe, was second in that. James was up there as well. He finished third. I know Daniel Falkenham won that, so congratulations to him are also in order. But your 1 and 2 were reversed from the first race. Chad won the second race, Presley Sora second. First race was Presley Sora first, Chad second. So a couple of players have been up here all night, working lap 15. Speaking of the 15, car number 15, to the back of James Watson, looking to set him up for a pass.
Now, he did that big send and made contact. Does he do that again?
I feel like he wouldn't if he, was aware of what happened the last time. But it is Chad.
James is not going to give up without a fight.
No?
Ooh, a little contact.
Ooh.
A little contact that might have hurt Chad worse than it hurt James.
Yeah. Oh! Camargo in the outside wall.
Now they've given Presley the breathing room. That he's got a little gap now. little gap. There's only 6 cars running, so it's not like you're going to be dealing with a bunch of traffic. Presley can just kind of set his pace out here, take care of his stuff, and make it live. As this time, I think James just gave it up. I don't think James fought him.
Yeah, and I think probably seeing Presley Sora pull away, maybe better to follow Chad right now. Oh, Presley Sora, huge wiggle. Right side almost clips the outside wall. That would have been huge. Just follow Chad, try to see what he's doing. See how that might go for him. Right now, Chris Albright did disconnect, so he is done for.
Taking a look here at James, he's losing some ground, but Chad is kind of breaking even.
Yeah, he's kind of. I think I'm looking at it. James
I feel like we want to sell.
Center.
We want to sell him catching him, right? But I got to think that there's going to be a point where if he does start catching him, Presley's saving a little. He's not running this hard. Going to take care of his tires. Like he's kind of, I feel like, got to have a point in mind where it's like if Chad gets this close, I'm going to pick it up a little bit more.
Absolutely. And we are on lap 23, so we are about a third of the way through this race. On board with Chad. Looking at the gap there, you see James is about 0.3 or so slower than Chad, so that's the gap that he's pulling.
And I believe the purple lap, Chad has just ran the fastest lap of the race with that purple.
Presley ran a 19.258. Chad with a 19.192 that time by. Chad with a 19.279 to Presley's 2.49, so a little bit slower than Presley that time by.
But I gotta tell you, 1919, that is absolutely just flying around this place.
Yeah, these guys are going about $140 as we head towards the corners. We're dropping bound to about 120 and firing back off, so these guys are absolutely ripping around this place. Tire scrubbing. Just sitting here and listening to how much you're hearing the tire squeal is kind of insane.
Now, if I recall, I feel like I've worked these races about every year. Just my first year as a producer. But I believe in this event last year, they started having some tire issues in the last 10 or 15 laps of this race. It went caution-free. Nobody expected that. And so they ran into some tire issues late in the race as far as guys actually blowing out tires. So I'm curious to see if that happens again tonight.
I mean, with the big wiggles we're seeing out of these guys and how the center of the corner looks, these guys are shifting from 4th to 5th and then back to 4th. So lots of variables for these guys. Obviously, the shifting probably isn't going to affect the tire wear, maybe just making it a little bit more wear to it, just because of the driving it off of the corner. But I would have to imagine, especially with the way that some of these guys have maybe had wall contact, like Chad maybe even. I don't think that the contact he had with Albright's been affected too much, but I'd be curious to see with the way that he kind of ran that bottom groove and maybe put a lot of pressure on those right side tires, how they're holding up right now.
And I gotta tell you, 7 cars started, we got 6 running. You're sitting at home watching this. We do this about once every 6 months. It's in an A season and B season. If you like what you see, join us here in about 6 months' time when we do this all over again. Try to find out, reach out to Join Elite, get into a series. We got the developmental series all the way up to the Cup cars. You got the Indy cars. We got anything and everything you could want to race in is here at Elite. So help make this car count just a little bit better here in 6 months' time and get us up over double digits for these Carb Day races, because they're a lot of fun, broadcasted just like everything else. And I think there might be a little bit of money out there to win, but I don't know for sure.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think Chris and I can both speak for it. If you want to get into the oval stuff, or really anything, if you want to run the ARCA series, You run 3 of those races, I think you can run trucks, you can run Grand National, you can run Cup. The skill level in Elite is varied. I think that is one of the big things that Elite does well, is that there's talent level for everybody. You are always racing somebody. The developmental series has been great. Being able to call those races, it was a great season. I cannot wait for that to start back up. The 2003 series just started on Tuesdays. So there's a lot of stuff to sink your teeth into here in Elite. And it's like Chris said, I mean, it's you will not be upset, or you will not feel like your efforts were wasted. So by all means, look us up on X. I'm sure there's a link in the description, I believe. If you would want to join the Discord, reach out. Chad, get yourself in these races and have some fun with us.
And we give Chad a lot of grief on here, but we do it out of friendship. You know, we give Chad a hard time. Chad does a great job running the league. Dave does a great job running everything over here at ER. Like, there's some great leadership here, and you know, the fact that we can be taking shots at Chad and taking shots at these other guys, that, you know, we kind of all know each other, so we all know we're not serious when we get over here, and you know, we say some things that, you know, are a little bit out there. We talk about Tally 15 and stuff like that. Like, it's we kid because we care, as Chris Myers would like to say.
Chad just had a little bit of a wiggle out of turn 4 that time by.
I gotta tell you, Presley is really making this thing just like Jeff Gordon in the mid to late 90s. Like, there's just not a lot going on. Big old gap. Chad's trying to hang on, but just since the last time we talked about it, Chad's lost about, I don't know, second and some change here, and James is back 7.5 seconds, so Presley's giving him the old goodbye.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at Chad's line. Chad is... Oh, Chad
that's not... That is not a good line. That is...
I was going to say, he has been pushing it, and he pushed a little too much there. That's the outside wall out of turn 4.
And
Chad
it's broke. Yeah, that
broke
broke it.
So that will now put James Watson up to second. And I say up to second because he is 8 seconds.
Up to second, but at this point, it would almost be a surprise if he didn't get lapped. Unless Presley just really backs it off. Chad's got some tires there, but he is not coming back out.
What are we looking at here? Sam Malone is turn 2, so he and Matt Wagner, I'll just say out the closest on the racetrack. Matt Wagner is 2 laps down.
We got nothing on the racetrack,
yeah,
as far as being close.
Well, folks, this just plays into the, you know, get out here and run with us. Instead of there being 7, there could be 17. We just need you folks at home to hop in here with us and have some fun. So,
that's taking them to the woodshed, those lap times over second place right now.
Yeah, that's not even. I mean, he's hitting 3s every lap. It's in the same range of it too. It's kind of crazy. So Presley's just kind of locked in right now, as we are looking at 29 to go this time by for the driver, the number 98.
Oh, he fell off there a little bit. He got into some traffic. He was only able to run a 44 there. And you see how long it takes to update per second? The reason it takes that long is that's because that is when James crosses the line, for those of you watching at home. So that's how close James is to getting lapped. If we watch this graphic, when it pops up here with James's lap time, that's when he's crossing the line in comparison to where the leader is.
Yeah. It's, he's 8 seconds away, give or take, from going a lap down. So, to say that Presley Sora has been the guy in this race would be quite the understatement, I would say.
I mean, good Lord, he is just, he got down to those four. He's back in the fours now. He had that lap there in the fives, then he immediately got it back down. And James isn't running terrible. You know, James has got, what, 3 seconds or so? 1 second, or on third place?
Yeah, he's hold his own for that respective spot. I mean, also, kind of getting races mixed up, but I don't know if James had contact in this one. I don't think he did.
I mean, Presley got back into the 38s there a lap ago. Can he stay in the threes? He's getting
35.
faster.
Maybe a little bit of a slip up there through turn 2 for him that time.
He's back in some dirty air again. I'll tell you what, based on the way that car is yelled out off these corners, I think he wants to lap everybody. I think he realizes that that is a possibility, and he's wanting to accomplish that.
I mean, I think that's something that, you know, to say you want to race and you know on the lead lap, that is a claim that nobody can take from you, for sure. That is a I earned it kind of claim. And
oh, he's blinking. Oh Lord, we got internet drama here with Presley.
Camargo also gets sent to the pits. It's a huge blink for Sora that time. First one we've seen too, so I'm even a little bit more confused.
Oh, and he's in the wall. Somebody needs to tell Presley he's got a 15-second lead with 20 to go. He needs to just...
I don't know, man. I feel like he would know that by now if he's looking at the ticker about 4 seconds up the road.
Yeah, you see second place in front of you. I feel like, yeah, but sometimes it does good to hear somebody else tell you. You know, you're thinking, do I want to get out of my rhythm? But sometimes it does some good if somebody gets in your ear and says, hey, man, I don't even need 90%. Back it down. Crawl around here for a little while, okay? Like, sometimes it does some good to hear that.
As we work 18 to go this time by. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. It's been interesting, especially if you watch the Freedom 100 and then you've watched all of these. It's been a good night of racing, especially just a little precursor to what is going to be Thursday. Again, with the 16th running of the Lucas Oil School of Racing Indy 500.
Who's on the pool?
Absolute blast. That is, I feel like I've looked at that 45 times.
Yeah, I really haven't paid much attention to it. I've had other stuff going on and have other stuff going on still yet, so I haven't really been able to look into it and see what was going on.
Your pole sitter. Scrolling to it. I literally saw it earlier. I scrolled all the way up to it and never... Brandon Trost is on the pole. So your front row is Brandon Trost, Alex Newsom, and Ryan Schold. It's your top three. So those guys all fighting for it, man. I think it's gonna be good. It looks like a competitive field, and I feel like the Elite Indy 500 always puts on a good show, and it never ceases to be a good time. So
I will agree, it never is a good time. I mean, it's gonna be interesting, right? Like, that's typically a strategy race on these last few builds of iRacing. So it's gonna be about getting the track position. Dirty air's been a big thing. We'll see how that all works out. I haven't kept up to see what was going on in practice, to see if people could pass, how easy it was to pass. You know, so I always feel like it's gonna be a strategy thing where you're really not gonna know who's gonna win until that last pit cycle. See who has to take on what fuel, who's maybe been able to cut out a pit stop when the cautions fall. So it is going to be a race that you're going to want to tune into, because you're not going to be able to know who's going to win it until right there towards the end.
As here we go.
Battle for the lead, right?
You would think. No. That's everybody on the lead lap. Right there on your screen. It's just pressing so. That's to work 11 to go. He's that guy. He is that guy, pal. But I think another thing to talk about with the Indy 500 on Thursday. Those guys had one more hour of practice today before the Freedom 100. So, if those guys found anything, especially those guys that might be a little deeper in the field, I think that last hour of practice today, and obviously whatever practice they decide to run themselves, those guys could find something, and they could surprise everybody. So, by no means is that anywhere near settled until we get to that white flag, and then we kind of get the checkered flag. Obviously, white flag kind of just paints a picture, but I think we've all learned that until that checkered flag comes out at Indy, it is not over. Just look at Joseph Newgarden with the move he made on Alex Palou. I believe it was Alex Palou. It might have not been Alex Palou, but I think it was a couple years ago.
I'm not sure. I really don't watch a whole lot. I don't watch a whole lot. I have been to a couple Indy 500s. I try to find a way to watch them when they're on. But as far as like memorable finishes, like I remember when Rossi won. I remember when Castroneves won his last one. Which, in my opinion, the Castroneves one was super exciting at the end. Like them in lap traffic, on the fuel mileage strategy, all that stuff that was going on. Super exciting.
Presley is what? What is going on with Presley Sora? Is he out of gas?
No way.
Is Presley Sora out of gas? What is going on?
I think he's out of gas. Maybe.
Wow. But James Watson is on pit road.
They needed gas. They ended up needing gas, and Presley didn't get to pit road in time. My, how the tables have turned here. Presley is getting on pit road right now as the leader. James is leaving.
Watson is already off.
And Presley's going to have to crawl. This is James Watson's race. He just needs to hit his marks, not try too hard here.
So Presley's got to go all the way to the end here.
And here we go. Lead change about to happen on the racetrack right now.
James Watson will go take the start-finish line.
Takes the lead. Presley Sora. Wow. How do you not watch that? How do you not see that there, Ty? It's so easy to see on iRacing, and to know your spotter's going to call out when you got 10 left, 5 left. And when you got those last 2, that spotter's going to call it out. How do you not get to pit road?
Oh, no, but that's costly. That's 1 lap down right there. He's going to be 1.5 laps down.
You're not gaining that back. Not in 3 laps, 3.5 laps.
No, there is no way. So, well, we were talking about Presley Sora being the guy to be the only one to finish on the lead lap, but right now, 3 to go, James Watson.
And I got to tell you, Matt Wagner, he was in trouble early in this race, made a pit stop on like lap 20 because he had some damage, got back out here, and he has just stuck to it. And it turns out everybody had to make a pit stop. He's sitting here, looks like he's going to finish second. No green, white checker, so if caution comes out, this thing's over. You know, Presley's going to try to maybe get back to second, but I don't even think there's time for that.
And I want to call out in chat, Cameron Rich asked, is James clutching? He might have been. He might have been.
Well, James ended up making a pit stop. He did make a pit stop, so.
He might have been trying. James Watson, white flag this time by for the driver with the number 39. Through 1 and 2, everything looks fine. Presley Sora takes the white flag. And out of 3 and 4, James Watson, 3 races, 3 different winners. He wins the Freedom 75.
Wagner comes across in second. Here comes Presley, third, and I am guaranteeing he's not going to be happy with that 3rd place.
No. Not at all. Sam Malone, 4th. Camargo goes 7 laps down, but does make it back on the racetrack after his internet issues. Chad Frankenfield with that incident, and Albright also with his incident with Chad Frankenfield. That will end his night. See James Watson parking it on the checkered. I have to imagine he might burn it down for us here.
James has got to be in shock.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine. I mean, he went from looking like his race was over, and it was set for Presley Sora to come out here and absolutely just have fun for that last little bit and be the only one to finish on the leading lap. But at the end of the day, it's James Watson, and he puts it in victory lane here at IRP. Well, folks, we have had an absolute blast with you tonight. Obviously, 3 races: the Hoosier 50, the Freedom 50, and the Freedom 75. Presley Sora, Chad Frankenfield, and James Watson are your winners. And
can I just say something before we jump out of here, Ty?
Absolutely.
That right there is why we won't know who wins the Indy 500 on Thursday until the very end, because you never know what kind of stuff's going to be happening with strategy and with fuel. Because, I mean, I can't speak for you, Ty, but I thought it was over. I didn't think fuel would be an issue. I thought tires maybe could be an issue, but we didn't really see anything that pointed to that. And then you caught it. You caught it when he ran out of gas, so like all of a sudden this race flipped on its head with 5 to go. So that is why you tune in on Thursday night and you stay watching even when you think it's over.
Absolutely. I mean, I did not think that was going to happen. And, but as Chris said, anything can happen, and that could happen on Thursday. So by all means, tune in right back here Thursday for the 16th running of the Lucas Oil School of Racing Indianapolis 500 here on the Elite Racing Network. And if you enjoyed tonight, I'm sure you will enjoy then. I mean, it's a lot of the same guys out there racing for a lot more than just a little bit of fun. So we hope to see you on Thursday. For myself, Ty McIntosh, and Chris Wright, we have had one heck of a night with you guys. And we will wrap it up, and we will see you on Thursday. Have a blast. Have a good night.